You ready?
As I'll never be.
Supposedly, we're live. Live from sunny North Carolina, okay. It's Robert and Chris.
Let me start. Welcome to the Foally of Man. My name points to self is Chris. With me here today, point to co-host is Robert. Disappointed. Oh, wait.
Welcome, everyone, to another wild and exciting episode of The Foally of Man, the show where we analyze the fan fiction Fall at Equestria, written by kkat. Ding! TM.
So it looks like we didn't need the script after all.
No, I know. In this show, in analyzing the book, the crux of the show is Chris here is a Brony, and I'm not a Brony.
He's not a Brony.
I like Fallout, but not a Brony at all. Never watched the show, and now 43 chapters later, we are very close to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's so many successive fan fictions afterwards. Now, we wanted to start things off a little bit differently.
Should we read all of them? You decide. No, yeah. God.
I see Smliff has joined us as well. Hey, Smliff, how you doing? Let's watch out for also Smliff this week.
I thought it was another Smliff.
Another Smliff. Maybe it was another Smliff.
You know,
an imposter's account. But there's a topic of discussion that I would like to start off this episode with. It's something I was thinking about is that, you know, it's very easy in the wasteland, once the goddesses are gone, to not believe that they ever existed, that they ever were, that they were even
or
godly,
their
that their powers were ever played. But think about it in a time when the goddesses do live. They'd lived for thousands of years. Imagine being, you know, an atheist at a time when the goddesses existed, when you're literally looking at them and you're like, I don't believe in you. You don't exist. You shouldn't listen to them. Like, what is that like? What does an atheist look like in
The Princess Delusion?
But like, how dare you listen to them? You know, no, I don't think they're actually goddesses.
Dungeon, moon, 1,000 years moon, no trial.
To the moon with you. Off with your mane.
Be really embarrassing.
Can you just imagine, like, punished Celestia, and it's like shaving off her mane, and she's got an eye patch for no reason.
No reason.
Snake. So, anyways,
yes. So
chapter 43.
Chapter 43. Very long chapter. This one wasn't broken up, was it?
How long? No.
This one wasn't broken up.
One big, long, solid, shiny, stinking chapter. But it's good because it's an awesome chapter. A lot happens.
Shinier than those 574,000 YouTube videos about highly polished aluminum balls.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Last place says, nothing but moon pies for the unbelievers.
Oh.
That is truly a barbaric punishment.
The first time I ever had moon pies, I threw up.
Isn't it disappointing? Like, everybody's like, oh, it's a moon pie. Everybody loves moon pies. Here, have this. And you take a bite and you're like, is this supposed to be marshmallow? Is this supposed to be chocolate?
Well, you know, Bobby,
because it's more waxy.
You know, Bobby does love moon pies.
He does love moon pies. You know, that video is still technically on the channel somewhere, but it's private.
Aww.
Maybe I should take it live just for shits and giggles.
That would be funny. You get to see us, like, what was that, 10 years ago?
Oh, no. No, that's like 12 or 13 years ago.
No, it would be 10 because I was working at the time.
I mean, like, it was not 10. I mean, this was when we were in high school.
True. This was before I was working.
Yeah, it would have had to have been.
Hello, another Smliff.
Oh, no. It's so weird.
We also need another last place. So technically you can't have two last places because then you'd be number... That joke doesn't really work.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Okay, so back to the chapter.
Yeah, we got to get into the chapter at some point.
It starts out...
Howdy, kkat.
Hi. It starts out with a log of food. Oh, great! There's at least 43 Smliffs. That's
God.
That's good.
Sorry, Smliff 1 through 42 was taken.
So we started with an audio log of Sweetie Belle,
who's questioning her faith.
Questioning her faith. She does actually post similar to what we were talking about, where she's like, "Have we lost our faith in the princesses, in ourselves, in our society, in our species?"
Yeah.
Which reminded me of
Well, it's what everyone would question when you're in a war, you're on the precipice of your destruction. You can feel it looming. I mean, you're even building the stables are not really a solution. They're the last bastion for ponydom.
Yeah, it's a final. It is an emergency plan. It's an escape plan.
It's like the seed vault that we have in the Arctic.
Yeah,
it's like if everything goes to shit, here's something. We'll try and preserve it. And she's even questioning the tests that they're going to be doing on the ponies.
Yeah,
and so it's like, but she understands that it's ponies that screwed up the world. Like,
well, I mean, it takes two to tango, so they're one half of the equation. I'm just saying
that's part of her rationalization. It's like she understands that, yes, we need to try and fix what put us in this predicament in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
But what we find out is that she has gone to, well, bye, Smliff. What she has gone to Zikora's hut. That's where she's gone to. And she's supposedly speaking to Zikora, even though Zikora's dead.
Yeah.
She's very dead.
Yes. But it reminded me of a quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who wrote the Gulag Archipelago, who described the events in Russia, pretty much the events of the rise of the Soviet Union, as men have forgotten God. That's why all this has happened. Which I thought was interesting, connecting those two. So I put it to Alexander Solzhenitsyn and Sweetie Belle, co-quoting it.
You think you're so fucking clever reading Solzhenitsyn. It's all like, well, in this page is the Gulag Archipelago, is it?
It's really hard to read.
I have to say,
kind of sad.
I'm proud of you. Besides pony shit, this is the first book you've read in a decade.
No, I've read other things.
Read.
Well, I read RimWorld.
Experienced.
No, Ringworld, not RimWorld.
RimWorld sounds like.
Oh no, that's a video game.
A porn version of Ringworld.
That would be
Ringworm.
Rimjob World? No.
Yeah.
Ringworld. RimWorld is the game. Ringworld is the story. However, the story is horribly perverse later on.
Our favorite fan, Watson.
Watson. Even though he says it's Wason. You should put an I or a Y in there.
Wason is what you say. It's like how you'd say it if you were really wasted. Wason.
This is Wason.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
You're a terrible drunk.
So, I beg your pardon.
Okay, yeah. Audio log.
Calamity says, "Hey guys, come to the window. Take a look at this." Lo and behold, we see the Enclave moving farther ahead of schedule by bringing in their supermassive weapon platform.
Bum 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 bum.
The Overcast.
Colonel Autumn Leaf here.
I duly declare.
I said, boy, it's a joke, boy.
Yeah,
I'm a rooster.
Gotta get your thumbs under your lapels.
Yeah. Nah, I'm just a simple backcountry rooster.
Yeah. Your overall straps, as it were. So
I'll do it when an earth pony flies. That does sound like something a Pegasus would say, doesn't it?
They're bastards.
And then here comes Pinkie Pie on one of the flying machines.
Oh, yeah. So the gang decides that they need to split up somehow. Pip has to move. That's
always a great plan.
So Daphne and Scoop stay behind with the professor while Shaggy, Fred, and Velma. Okay.
Why, Raramary? Where are we going, Raramary? Riddle Pip. Could you have a character on TV these days with a speech impediment? I think you'd have a hard time getting away with it. Like Porky Pig, like that's terrible. You're making fun of somebody with a stutter,
Yeah. There are socially acceptable and socially unacceptable disabilities.
Do you know the most? So in the world, do you know where Speedy Gonzales is most popular? Oh, Jesus Christ. What if we started? For those of you listening at home, we now have Smliff number 15. I'm starting to think that it's one person with multiple accounts.
Possibly, or a group of friends who just really enjoy screwing with people.
That's fine. I mean, if we've got a band of trolls on our page, that's cool. It's whatever.
Yeah. Let's get back to the story though, because there's a lot to cover. So
somebody forgot to change their account.
Oh,
boom.
And the curtain has been pulled away. Do not look at the man behind the velvet curtain. So Red Eye's fires are also apparently not burning the trees.
Yeah, it's a magical fire.
Yeah, Reggie was noticing while the group was fighting that the fires were apparently going through the trees somehow.
And then they're like, but and Velvet was like, but there were trees burning around us. And it's like, wait, that was actually trees burning from the attack from the Blue Angels,
Wonderbolts.
The Wonderbolts. Thank you. Wonderbolts. So I'm just going to keep making that Venture Brothers reference until somebody else gets it. That's one of my favorite episodes. It's so creepy.
Let's use the sun as a weapon against the guy whose power comes from the sun. That's a fucking good idea.
I love that essentially his attack is a sunburn.
The original bird, they're going after the original Birdman.
Yeah, which was powered by the sun. Well, Superman's powered by the sun. Yeah. He draws energy from the yellow sun.
Yeah. So moving forward,
trotting forward.
Yes.
So they do split up. Yes.
The Hellhound that they had
cuts through his bindings because it doesn't matter when your fingers are razors.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter.
And he's like, if you want to take my invisibility cloak, I need something in exchange.
And what I want is those claws, those Hellhound claws that you're using for knives.
And Regina says they belong to my brother, and he's like, well, actually, I'm pretty sure it belonged to one of my brothers before it belonged to him.
And things escalate, as you can imagine they do.
So he takes Velvet prisoner,
and Velvet knocks him out.
But while knocking him out, he does cut her face wide open.
Yeah.
Like falling to the ground because their claws are so sharp. Like that's the hard thing to wrap your head around. Their claws are so sharp. They literally like cut through metal like a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And they're all out of bandages. So Pip once again has to call upon the dark arts and use a blood cast on half of Velvet's face.
Yeah.
Which has got to look screwed up, man. I mean, it's just.
I'm reminded of the nurses from Silent Hill that have like those really like deformed and grotesque looking faces. That's what I'm reminded of by it. So Velvet does, or I think it was Velvet does, they do trade, give the Hellhound back the claw helm.
The helm, yeah, that
Zenith was
using. Yeah. Well, we should also say that. So the reason why Red Eyes was making sure to use a spell pass or what's it called?
Bypass.
To not burn the trees is he's going to need the lumber. He needs the lumber for building.
The coronary bypass.
Yeah.
So we go outside, only to see a sprite bot. And as they're about to go like, oh shit, it's Red Eyes again, it's like, no, it's Watcher. And so Pip has a little moment talking with Watcher, and all the people that Pip wanted to gather up at Watcher's tower, or Watcher's mountain cave, are pretty much all there except for Homage.
Party at Watcher's house.
And little Pip has a moment where she realizes that she's not going to see Homage when she goes there, and has a little bit of a cry.
Omelette do Homage.
And so she also realizes that Red Eye's probably been using those sprite bots to spy on people, which is the reason he knows so much about what's going on, is he's using the sprite bots to spy as well.
Yep.
So not because of that, but she kills the sprite bot to reboot her own Pip Buck, which was damaged and knocked out in the last
battle. She even uses
the
term, the sprite bot dies, or whatever the death for a robot is.
Yeah.
To pull out the spark battery from it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Yeah. So they decide to make so with her having the advanced stealth Buck Mark II, and the both Regina and Calamity having the a zebra stealth cloak, they decide to do the greatest and most wondrous and obvious thing and sneak aboard the super massive weapons platform, the Overcast.
Well, think about it. What's the fastest way to get to their destination but aboard the ship that's going directly where they need to be?
Yeah.
They don't want to be there any sooner. It wouldn't help them. And they do have, it actually is a pretty good plan.
Oh, yeah.
Get on board, have Calamity get armor, hide himself as an Enclave soldier, and then Pip and Regina will both be hidden underneath the cloaks, and they can move freely amongst the ship.
Yeah.
Now they attempt to come in from the top, and everything's basically locked up and secured.
Yeah. Reggie does hack through a porthole, effectively.
Is it a cloud terminal? Like, it seemed to me that the Griffins were able to manipulate.
Yeah, they can.
Right. So they can do that. They can manipulate the same terminals that the Pegasi can.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I think it was that she just picked a lock, though.
You think so?
Because she said, "Are you surprised?"
Well, there was one point where Pip had to walk her through unlocking something. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We'll move on.
Yeah.
I don't want to get bogged down in those minor details. I just remember something to that effect.
Yeah. I think it was when they were doing the brig.
So they do get inside.
The Howland was surprisingly accommodating for his part, considering how little Pip and Velvet's first meeting with one went. True. However, you got to realize when you're walking death, every action you make is a possible threat.
Absolutely.
To the nth degree.
The other thing is, on some level, the Hellhound understands, even as callously and cruel as it is, it understands that they did not have to save him. He would have died there in the forest, and he's been nursed back to stable health.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they've granted him more leniency and friendship than any pony in the wasteland before.
Yeah, so he's probably a little bit confused, and he's like, "What the hell do they want out of me? Are they trying to enslave me like the Enclave did?"
Yeah.
Right. So they do get aboard. They steal some medical supplies, as well as Calamity getting his armor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, in Calamity, it's been so long since he's had Enclave armor on that he forgot he had an inventory sorter.
Yeah.
So like Pip asked for something from his inventory, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, I'll have to find it." And he's like, sorting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Why didn't you use your inventory sorter?"
Yeah, he just.
So explain the inventory sorter for me. Is it a spell that basically rearranges everything in your inventory?
I think
in your saddlebags.
I think it may not actually reorganize everything. It may just tag everything in such a way to where when you need something, you can request it.
It pulls it up.
Yeah, and it actually
that's kind of cool. I mean,
references its position in space.
I always like to think of the mechanics behind something, which is hard to do because there is magic involved. But if you've got a suit that siphons off scrap metal to repair pieces,
well,
it wouldn't be that hard to have an item pop up out of a saddlebag when you need it.
Well, I mean, you can also think of it as a reference system, a reference collection in programming where you have a whole bunch of objects in a whole bunch of different spaces, but you have a single collection which points to the location of those objects.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sort them in memory. It just refers to their position and puts those references in a collection.
Calamity also raids his brother's stash.
Of course, because fuck him, right? Ass.
Yeah.
They do go in. They do decide to sneak into and free some prisoners from the brig.
It should be stated before that, though, that Calamity on the ship figures out Little Pip's ultimate plan.
Oh yeah, they do discuss a little bit because Little Pip has to finalize the question. So, how well guarded is the main SPP tower? And he's like, Navarro, you mean the one that's permanently got one of these things parked overhead?
Navarro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, but they've amassed all of a huge contingent of their troops.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much their center for military operations. And
Absolutely.
So it's like,
well, wouldn't you want to defend the most important key to everything?
Yeah, and being that their lifehood is based off of the cloud seeding for the plants, then what you end up doing is you have to maintain that one because that's the center platform for your ability to get food.
Yeah,
so that's important.
There we go. Thank you.
Remember the music playing through the ship? Yes. I actually
it only plays around where Colonel Autumn Leaf is.
Yes, Colonel Autumn Leaf is really, really big into theatrics.
Yeah,
like Red Eye.
It's all about show. Yeah, well, it's powerful men in powerful positions.
Yeah, and when you have an entire military force at your disposal, you're going to start feeling like you want to play music while you do things. The flight of the
for some reason though, because the way he carries himself, all I hear is German Nazi music from World War II everywhere he goes. It's such a jaunty tune. Why does it have to be attached to something so shitty? Like, you'll get it stuck in your head and like, wait, damn it, no! I will not have a glockenspiel in my head.
Okay, so while infiltrating the brig, Pip does a force choke, which I thought was interesting. It's like the only time I've really seen her do something like that. Makes sense that she could. It's not something that's ever really
and it's it's limited to the strength of her actual
magic.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about it. If you have the ability, she was describing the alicorns as having a heart attack spell. But imagine if you could use your telekinesis in such a way to where you could visualize the internal portions of the body. Life Bloom, as for example, could technically heal wounds within someone's body if he knew
what it looked
enough what it looked like.
It's just you have to be able to picture it.
Yeah, and you have to be able to realize where to apply force and how.
That would have made your surgery a lot easier.
Well, we still have to get the cow valve in there somehow. Telekinesis. It's like zap. Oh wait, no, that's his kidney. Put that back in.
Oh, you're turning a little orange there, buddy. Actually, that'd be your liver, right?
Yeah. But so I mean, she could technically block the blood pathways within someone's body and hold their blood still and literally.
But anyways,
suffocate them.
So they do find captives aboard the ship, and it should be stated here too. I keep wanting to say Gaudina. Regina sneaks off basically to go assassinate Colonel Autumnleaf.
Yeah,
she's like, "I'm here. I'm ready to do this." And in that, she actually finds the brig where they've got captives trapped, and she realized everything she's doing is in honor of her brother. And she's like, her brother would be more willing to try and save people than to try and eliminate the target, to kill the target. And so she gives up a quick kill on Autumn Leaf, because I have no doubt that with the element of surprise, she could have just aced him,
because he's a soldier who's used to fighting in power armor first, so he's used to a certain style and tactic.
Well, and even he's walking around in power armor, but with those Deathclaw blades, with surprise and sneak, dead. I mean, just dead. She'd like right into his throat, dead. Now she'd probably die in the process, but you think like she doesn't seem to care.
Oh no, it's all about. I mean,
this is the fucker that killed my brother. I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, not only killed my brother, but ended up killing a lot of people I knew because of the casualties they had at Shattered Hoof.
Yeah,
under Enclave forces.
Yeah,
so yeah,
there weren't many there, but I mean, they hate the Enclave.
Yeah, no, I mean, and going back, the Griffin and Enclave have been sparring with each other for the longest time.
Yeah.
So we don't talk very much, and the story doesn't talk very much about their father.
Yeah.
But I mean, he could have been killed very early on from that.
Probably. I mean, there's a reason why we don't hear it. Also, Gaudina kind of comes across like the single mother type.
Yeah.
Like, I had a tryst, I have my twins, I don't need you. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but that could be as a result.
Just like Rey, her parents don't matter apparently.
Oh god. But that could be as a result of the father dying or as a consequence of the father dying rather than causing the father to leave. So we can, again, I can't answer that. I don't know.
The father, the dead son, and Gaudina's.
And the Holy Spigot.
Yes, the Holy Spigot. Oh, great. Anyways, so as we so they rescue the the people in the brig. There is literally a hatch underneath the brig that just drops people out of their prison, like their cells. Like if they've got to empty the ship of bad people, they just drop them to the ground.
Yeah,
dead.
The Enclave are such nice people.
Yeah. Anyways, they steal what can only be described as a turtle class warship.
Yes. We call it a tank.
Well, and what's so great is that these Enclave soldiers like run like trying to hop on the tank, like ready to go.
And Reggie pulls off the cloak and says, "Nah, taken."
And the look on their face.
I was not expecting this. I feel kind of perturbed.
The other thing too is that when they're getting the prisoners, so they're literally hovering under the big ship with their hatch open, like jump. It's only like 12 feet, but for them, they're tired, they're starving, they're scared.
They're earth ponies.
Yeah, they're earth ponies, and so they're struggling to get down, and some of them have to be just kind of pushed. And I think Pip levitates a few. I don't remember, but they
probably
eventually all get in the ship. But as they approach the cathedral, magical bypass rounds start passing through the ship and killing
some of the occupants,
the prisoners on the inside.
Now, thankfully,
literally like turning them to ash. You know.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, some of the occupants are smart enough to try to calm the situation and just tell everyone what to do. Just huddle, make yourself as tight as possible, small as the target as possible.
Yeah.
And just keep calm.
Well, here's your salvation, purgatory. Let's see if you'll make it to paradise.
The green zone, the area around a star where habitable plants can live.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like literally in this fine line. I mean, astronomically fine line, of course. It's quite a wide area. But there was an interesting thing as well. So when they go down, and it was actually as they're parking underneath that, they see a large black figure come up from the cathedral itself.
Go ahead.
Again, which I don't know.
Ready for my trap card.
I really don't know whether or not that kkat was trying to make a really, really long played out Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
Kaiba, you never understood the heart of the cards.
But congratulations on doing it regardless. 43 chapters in, and we finally reached the joke. Took you long enough.
It's a terrifying dragon, though. It is the biggest. It's the biggest dragon we've ever seen. It is an ancient dragon. It is
one that was supposed to be dying of old age until
cybernetic.
Until Red Eyes revived it through cybernetics, which is also terrifying.
So it's a giant, ancient, cybernetic, pissed off dragon.
And pissed off because, as we learn later in the chapter, Red Eyes put a bomb inside of it to make it
on
obey. On its heart to make it obey, or else he would kill it.
Yeah. Well, as it's described too, the dragon also didn't have a choice, but it would also prefer to help Red Eyes because he gave him new life. Mm-hmm. There was a comment on that.
The dragon is from the show as well. I thought the one that was actually in the cave was red, as this one was described as being black.
Do you remember there being red bits on it? But
that was the glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
And the red spikes that came out of its tail from the cybernetics. Because that's Red Eye's whole thing is red eye, red coloration, because he's just has to be an evil bastard.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this for the good of... Oh, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Owl's Well that ends well. I'll have to remember that. I don't remember that one.
So it's funny. I don't know much about My Little Pony, but my first thought was like, "Ooh, giant ancient dragon. Is this Discord?" I know Discord from the what do you call it? The Hot Diggity Demon videos.
Yeah.
But then we find out it's not Discord. That Discord supposedly was turned into like an ethereal spirit that like causes chaos. That's the theory.
Well, no. Discord is a spirit, a manifestation of various different creatures called a Draconiquus. Now, whether or not that was actually a thing beforehand or whether it's just the thing now, I don't know. I could look it up, but I just don't care to.
Gotcha.
But he existed before then.
Gotcha.
He was actually from the show, from the first episode of the second season, if I remember my timeline right.
Wasn't he originally a villain?
Yes, he is a villain, or was a villain. And technically, if you ignore everything past season 2, as I'm hoping some people still do.
So I have heard murmurs on the Twitterverse that apparently season 8 is a bit of a disappointment.
I'm not surprised because of how it's framed. It is literally framed in the stupidest way possible because the writers have gone full lazy. I haven't even seen the episodes. I'm like, this is framed so poorly.
So this episode's going to be a retelling of Star Trek, and Kirk is like, I don't know, some kind of ocelot or something.
They decided to get together to make a school.
What?
I know. It's not even interesting lazy. It's like what was that? Daddy Daycare.
Just wait till they reuse some of the songs and change the lyrics to suit them. My name is Pinkie Pie, and what we'll learn today.
Oh God.
is
So anyway, going back to this, after we meet the dragon, they
head down towards the cathedral.
They head down towards the cathedral to find their way in so she can kill Red Eye.
Kill Red Eye? Why would you want to kill Red Eye?
I know. He's
such a charming guy. Oh, yeah. would you call it a goose step?
Yeah, a goose step.
Yeah,
you remember because
it's hard to
he
imagine
actually
a pony.
has seen.
It's hard to imagine a pony throwing their legs out that far.
Well, he has seen the episode. What was that season? Was it 5 with
the communist episode?
The communist episode where they actually do the goose step.
Yeah, I have seen that.
It was so hilarious. You start the second episode and they're actually broadcasting propaganda. It's like, God damn. Oh, when's the Prague Spring? Okay.
No refunds.
So we also, while we're searching through the cathedral, we see the promissaries, unicorns, who will become one with the new god of creation.
Yeah, well, we basically see his this is his the hub of everything he does.
Yeah.
We've got schools, we've got children, we've got education, we've got murals everywhere. He had brought in the stained glass windows from Canterlot.
He
from the castle.
He shows two different art exhibits. One is allowable, one's the non-allowable. Oh wait, no, that is Hitler.
Yeah.
So
I remember Pip thinking about like the pink fog, like slowly seeping, the taint seeping out of the stained glass.
Yeah.
Like how bad that would be.
So interestingly, we do go into we do find a audio recording from when Red Eye was in
the stable.
His stable.
And he's speaking to the Overmare.
And the Overmare and him are having a conversation, and he's like, no, Earth ponies are the superior ones. We can do what others cannot. And it's like, wait, just a second. This goes against all the rhetoric you've been touting this entire time.
Well, it was the Overmare who was saying Earth ponies are better than everyone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, and Red Eye was saying no, all ponies have value.
Yeah.
We all have to work together.
But the point is,
he was the one that was talking as a collective, like bringing them together.
Yeah. The workers, no. Interestingly, the Overmare, after drinking the drink, says, "It's odd you haven't touched your glass." At which point I remarked that I did not know that Red Eye was a Sicilian.
Yeah, iocane powder, odorless, tasteless, insanely deadly.
Yeah, I just grew a.
There are two great flaws. The first is never start a land war in Asia, and the second is never match wits with a Sicilian, especially when death is on the line.
Okay. So they go farther down and into the lower areas where they figure Red Eye has to be, and they come across a Doc Slaughter, which is effectively a brain bot. Good
old Dr. Slaughter. Yeah, well, and has all sorts of crazy implements.
Yeah, I would really expect, if talking to Doc Slaughter, he'd have a really soft, high-pitched voice, like really fucking creepy.
Like Sigmund Freud?
Yeah.
Freud had a really weird, high-pitched voice.
Yes.
He kind of talked like this, and it was...
They all want to love their mother.
Oh.
Yes, mother.
Oh no.
Okay. Demonetized. They also going through one of the audio logs while down there, find the source of the Manticore doctor that
he was a protege of Dr. Slaughter.
That
lab assistant.
Yeah. That Pip had come into contact with, let's say, in one of the stupidest ways possible. Why would you ever fucking do that? God damn it.
They didn't.
Damn it, Pip.
They didn't bone. I mean,
as far as we know, she was knocked out the entire time.
Yeah, he was
Interesting question for kkat. Can you actually still feel sensation from your regular body even if it's extreme enough while you're in the memory orb?
I don't want to know.
I mean, it would be an effective method of euthanization.
Interesting. You just fade into the velvet fog.
Or anesthetization.
Anesthetization,
yeah. Yeah. Because you just say, okay, here's a memory orb that's 8 hours of, I don't know, and you pump them into there and then do a surgery, and you're like, okay, you're back out, good. And you don't finish it in 8 hours, you're like, okay, well, while you're screaming, here, focus on this. So, then we meet we don't meet. We go down to find a Dr. Glue, which is one of the other doctors.
Apparently from the Bronx.
No, Little Pip once used one as a substitute for anesthesia. So yes, you can use. Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Come on, Wasteland doctors, you know what to do.
But anyways, yeah, Dr. Glue sounds like he's straight out of New York.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. So there are, I guess is it ponies from Manhattan?
Yeah.
That sound like that? Because we've come across a security guard that sounded like that before.
Yeah.
At it was the security officer at Arbu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, that's just Crazed Rambling's interpretation of it.
Well, it's sort of written that way.
Yeah, a little.
So, I mean, ultimately, it's up to kkat to say whether it is or not. But I kind of like it. I like that there's regions of ponies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's accents.
Well, in the show, if I remember correctly, they do a Manhattan accent for Manhattan.
Yeah. So it's canonical.
Yeah. So in this whole thing, we actually see that Colonel Autumnleaf, as well as a few other guards, are having a discussion with Dr. Glue.
We should also say that this frames the scene with James and Colonel Autumn inside the Project Purity.
Yep.
Because they're behind security glass.
Yep.
And behind a secure door. And they're basically trying to figure out, okay, do we spring an attack? What are we going to do? Little Pip tells Calamity and Regina to cover themselves with the cloaks, and she's going to use the magical bypass gun, or she thinks it's a magical bypass gun, to fire through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that she can, using her sats, do bursts and pretty much take out everyone if she needs to. But if it doesn't pass through the door, it just causes a big calamity. Speaking of calamity, Regina says, no, I need to avenge my brother. I'll do this for you. In fact, we'll rock, paper, scissors for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Little Pip looks at her confusingly like, what? And she's like, ponies always lose because they can only do rock. But again, it's these Griffin games that ponies don't understand.
Well, anything with tactile systems.
Yeah. So, well, it takes you back to the earlier chapter with playing cards. You know, why would a unicorn pony play a game that other ponies couldn't play with them?
Yep. Because they're elitist fuckholes. I said it. I don't take it back. I said it.
Fucking mud ponies.
Filthy mud ponies.
Filthy mud ponies.
Filthy mud ponies.
Earth fuckers.
Dirt fuckers.
Yeah, dirt fuckers. I like that. Dirt fuckers. Needs to be the name of the episode.
Oh, God. Okay, so in amongst all of this, Calamity starts talking, and
he pulls back the hood of the cloak, goes up to the door that has security glass on it, and goes, bang, bang, bang. Hey, Brony, you and I need to talk.
At which point, Colonel Autumn is like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Colonel Autumn is triggered. Kill him! Kill him!
You really went spoony there.
No. So, I'm sure everybody can tell. I've had laryngitis for the last couple of weeks. And so I have voice today, which is good, but it's breaking and cracking all the time. So my apologies for it. Anyways, yeah, he's like, he doesn't say kill him. He says wound him, but don't kill him.
Yeah. Bring me back the traitor.
Bring back the traitor.
So the Enclave Guard attempt to get at Pip, Regina, and Calamity and fail to do so, as one would obviously expect.
Well, there's so much firearm. There's so much shooting at the security door. It literally is melting the stone around it.
Yeah.
And Pip is waiting for it to melt away enough for her to fire through it. And she describes the light as being blinding. It's so hot and full of magical energy that you can't see through it. Regina even gets struck in her right arm. She gets struck in her right arm. Mm-hmm. And she had never received a wound from a magical energy weapon before. She's downing magical potions. And it's Pip who says, she, at best, it'll just be a scar, but she'll likely never be able to dual wield her guns with the same effectiveness before. Because she describes it as burning away an inch of flesh.
Yeah.
Which is pretty severe.
Oh, yeah.
Although I would never underestimate a griffin.
No, not anything that's got natural ability and inclination to kill you.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah.
We do, however, finally make our way through. And as we're entering, I should also mention that Colonel Autumn vaporizes Dr. Glue.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should say Dr. Glue has a very dirty mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very nasty. And they're not even that clever swearing. He's like, when were you last euthanized and stuff like that? It's not very clever. But, But I remember him talking about the star metal. You know, what kind of starts this is Colonel Autumn pulls out the star metal from that they've been testing on, and we hear from the audio logs that they've been doing tons of tests with stuff. And he's like, "What are you cutting off shavings of this and feeding it to ponies?" And he's like, "You know, what kind of idiot would be willing to eat this stupid star metal? And you know, why would you tell me when you're making weaponry out of it and attaching it to your body?"
Yeah.
You know, here's this crazy stuff from outer space that we don't even know what it does, and you're trying to make it into a weapon. You know, you're crazier than I am because I'm not even putting it in ponies' bodies. We're just trying to figure out what it is.
It reminds me a little bit of the stupidity. There's a thing called Plan 9 from outer space.
Yeah.
You may have heard of it. You probably have. The whole thing hinges on the concept. The story is that human beings are about to reach the point where they start using solar energy. I'm not kidding. This was made so long ago that the ideas behind it are fucking hilarious. They were going to use solar energy and use it as a form of fuel, but they didn't realize that as soon as you light the solar energy aflame, it causes the entire thing to light a flame, which would then spread to other stars that would end up destroying the universe. And so they had to stop humanity by raising the dead and killing them that way. It was really fucking stupid, but that reminds me of that. The whole concept of, you have no idea what you're doing. You're working with something you don't fucking understand.
We forgot to mention at the audio log at the beginning when we were talking about what's her face? Sweetie Belle. That she took the rock from space and turned it into a cornerstone.
It wasn't the rock from space. Oh no, she did. That's right. Yeah. I'm thinking of the rock.
Made it a cornerstone of the stable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they are screwing around with star stuff. In fact, I guess rocks. That's kind of how I understood it, is that's where they got this chunk of star metal, was from that.
Yeah, and they explain as well in the
is star metal something from the show? Star stuff from the show? Okay, so it is purely in the book.
Star metal,
falling star, and be a tainted monster.
Well, yeah, well, they describe it in the chapter as well. It's not about that the star metal brought down some kind of demon. What it did was it infected the, psychological ecology or the magical ecology of the world. It infected it with its seams.
Yeah.
And it spread and grew and mutated and started to adapt. And that's where all this evil comes from, is from that star metal.
So evil did not come from the devil below, but the heavens above.
Hey!
All right. So anyway, so the ambush doesn't go well. They kill Colonel Autumn Leaf's guards.
Yeah.
Calamity shoots one of them right through the head. Like, as they're reloading, it's like,
Yeah.
Bye-bye. But basically, Red Eye comes over the intercom, and he's like, "Oh, perfect. You've all joined me. As I've been planning.
And your friends are upstairs. The Velvet one." And Calamity's like, "The fuck you have?" And runs back upstairs.
Yeah.
Which is part of his scheme, was to keep them separate.
Right. But he opens up a door, and Colonel Autumn Leaf goes in to try and find Red Eye. But little Pip, cloaking herself, sneaks in, thinking that nobody can see her.
Well, I mean, she's somewhat right.
Yeah.
It's not that it's, obviously we find out that Red Eye could see her, knew she was there, but I guarantee you it wasn't because he could see her. It's because he knew damn well that she was going to do it.
Right.
He's like, there's going to be an open door. She has the ability to be invisible. There's no fucking way she's not going to use the door.
Yeah.
Because because in her mind, she has the ability to come straight back out.
Right.
Even if it's locked, she could probably find some way through it. So she's going to think she's invulnerable and therefore walk through the door.
And anyways, so Colonel Autumn Leaf, we're in this room, and it's basically a perfect recreation of the goddess's chambers.
It's kind of weird.
Except it's shiny and new.
And we don't mention the fact that that she has to hack her way in. And the password on the terminal is Little Pip.
Yep.
Which is creepy.
Upsetting.
Ugh.
It'd be even worse if it was Little Pipsqueak, her full name.
That would be creepy. That would be creepy as well. That'd be...
Like, I feel like if kkat wanted to up the creep factor, it would be Little Pipsqueak.
And it's like, wait, because then later on, and she'd finally realize, wait, how the hell did he know unless he was on this side still?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was the reason that Velvet went out into the into the wasteland, and yeah, that would have upped it a little bit. It wouldn't have really served any purpose other than just fuck
At
with
its
people.
core, kkat, basically shows Red Eyes is a smart guy, but he's not all knowing.
No,
I mean, he wants to be a god,
yeah,
but he's not currently that all knowing.
No.
And he even admits to Autumn that, you kind of threw my plan. I had to move up my plans because you showed your hand really early.
Yeah. So
and Autumn Leaf is like, what are you going to do? You can't stop me. And so Red Eyes lets off an EMP charge that basically shuts down Colonel Autumn Leaf's armor,
which means he can't fly and escape.
He can't do anything. He can't move. He's locked down, just like when they found Steel Hooves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of when but we should say that Colonel Autumn Leaf asks Red Eye a question. And he says, are you giving me an opportunity to monologue? Sorry, I did that in Colonel Autumn Leaf's voice, not Red Eye's voice.
Yeah, I mean, but regardless, they're both monologuing.
But he's like,
are
you inviting me to monologue?
It's like,
and Pip's like, no, he's getting you to talk longer so that your stealth buck wears off.
Yeah.
He's not an idiot. He's a tactician.
Yeah.
So but of course, Colonel Autumn Leaf is like frozen, but we find out Red Eye's big ass plan.
Yeah. Which was he was going to turn himself into a god, but form the god not out of unicorns solely, but out of all ponies, so that the alicorns being made would be an equal part of all races.
All the races.
And thus...
And that's what the original gods were.
Yeah.
That they understood...
The archetype of all races.
They understood they understood the aspects of all ponies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the goddesses that have been, or the alicorns that have been created, were just unicorn ponies that were given wings. They don't know what it means to be an earth pony, and they ultimately don't know what it means to be a Pegasus pony.
Nope. That's why they're such poor flyers.
Yeah. And basically this is when he calls out little Pip, and he's like, I know you're here.
Yeah, he might as well. And he knows she's on the cage because she sees...
Well, we didn't say the cage. The cage is full of unicorns.
Oh yeah, the cage is full of
unicorns. He's literally going to drop like 21 unicorns into the vat, along with him and Colonel Autumn Leaf.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you put an escape off the top of the cage, like an entry off the top of the cage. You put a whole bunch of prisoners inside. Where is the savior of the wasteland going to be when you call upon them?
In the cage.
On the top of the cage, at the opening, getting the prisoners out. Of course. So he knows exactly where she's going to be. I mean, it would be really fucking hilarious if for some reason she got sidetracked on something for half a minute, and he's like,
oh, there's a side quest in this chamber.
I can see you. Come on. Damn it. She was supposed to be right there. I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Literally looking through old audio logs in her pip buck. Sorry, her pip arm.
Red Eye just sitting there. He's like, so what did you eat for breakfast today?
Well, it's like that in the game. Like somebody can start talking to you and you're like, you pull up your interface.
Yeah, that's great. Ooh, cat video.
I asked him his name and his face changed for the next 30 minutes. As a Skyrim guard, I've seen some shit.
Yeah. So the as he calls her out, he effectively says, you can either go into the vat voluntarily and assist me, or I can drop all of these unicorns. Which would you like?
And one of them is going to fit the mold for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But what he says to her is, he says, I need somebody who's a strong enough will and good enough natured to keep, Autumn Leaf in check and also make the right decisions, because I'll be too distracted, controlling my children.
Mm-hmm.
I'll need somebody who actually cares about the wasteland. And here's the conundrum. He's offering Pip basically what she already wanted.
Godhood.
Well, and to be able to make those decisions.
Yeah. Being able to save the wasteland on a much greater and more capable capacity than she can now. However, there is an inherent flaw with his plan. And the inherent flaw is one of a dictator. He wants to save the wasteland by controlling everyone.
Yeah.
Which is the inherent flaw. It will not work.
Yep.
Because whatever you do to force someone to do one thing, they will automatically do the other. And this is a psychological thing. If you lay out a whole bunch of toys in front of a child and say, you can play with every single one of these except for that one right there, the child's going to go for that one the first opportunity he gets. Because he's going to be like, why? Why can't I? Let me find out.
The other thing is that, so you've got these three personalities. Heaven forbid, one of the bad aspects takes control.
Yeah.
You could even be a good leader one day and be a tyrant the next, because you have this not duality, but a triality. I mean, what do you call when it's three aspects of the same? A trinity?
A trinity.
Yeah. And it can be, and you get the good and bad of all of them. Even Pip has the capability of tremendous callousness and cruelty.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at Arbu. She literally decided to be the angel of death on that community.
Yeah. She passed judgment.
Yeah. So
woe be to thee.
But anyways, Red Eye takes the plunge.
Well, what he also divulges is, oh, by the way, you can't stop me, because if you do, it kills every single person in that cage.
Bomb collars.
Bomb collars, and they're all linked by a signal that you can't possibly interrupt by any possible. Oh wait, she could, but that's afterwards.
Cue the planted broadcaster.
She realizes just at the last second the broadcaster will work as Autumn Leaf somehow knowingly says, by the way, scissors beats paper, and hellhounds storm the
one of them comes right up
chamber.
underneath the tank full of the goo.
Mhm.
And bad. Not good for that one, but it starts draining into the ground.
Yeah.
And
he realizes it, and Red Eyes realizes the situation's fucked and jumps. And as he jumps, Pip catches him
midair. And he's like, how did I know? How could I forget that you had this ability?
God damn.
Yeah, he's like planning and planning and planning. Damn you, little Pip.
And right as he says that, he gets zapped by one of the hellhounds.
Yeah.
And
he's dying.
And he starts dying immediately. And then Pip has to realize, oh shit. Because there's not only the problem of, yes, every single unicorn underneath me gets blown to smithereens. I'm standing on the cage. There's a lot of explosives down there. Even if they're small charges just to blow off someone's head, cumulatively, it's a big explosion.
The other thing that should be stated, that Colonel Autumn Leaf, in the event that he loses communication and does not come back, he has given them commands to glass the entire thing.
Yes, and also, he just lost communication. So they're glassing it.
Yeah.
So everything's gone to shit.
They've already started the bombardment.
And Pip also realizes, shit, this area is also filled to hell with taint.
Yeah. It would all flow into the Everfree Forest.
Yeah, which is the worst possible place for it to flow. So Pip comes to several realizations very quickly. One, she has to get the collars off the unicorns, or else problems are going to happen later on. The broadcaster can stop the kill switch because it floods all signals with pretty much noise.
Right, but Pip drops him into the tank.
Yeah.
So we don't have confirmation that Red Eyes is killed.
He ain't turning into the god now.
Yeah. Well, I was just stating.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know how the story ends, Chris.
I know.
But we don't explicitly say that he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
We say that the life is leaving his eyes, but Pip just drops him in the tank and then uses the broadcaster to cloud the stream, break the stream.
Yeah, it's just pretty much blast white noise.
But there's still these bombs that have to be diffused.
Yep. So says Colonel Autumn Leaf, of course, as the pathetic, simpering little pissant that he is, says,
Don't leave me.
Don't leave me. I don't want to die. It's like, oh, really? Like, not but 2 hours ago, you were all gung-ho, and now you're practically pissing yourself on the floor.
Die, potato.
Okay. Colonel Autumn Leaf says, I can help you remove those bomb collars. I can actually assist you with that.
I'm quite good with bombs.
Yes. She
you
says,
dropped
okay,
a bomb on me.
I will help you so long as you not only do this, but we turn your star gun, by the way,
into a big boom.
A big boom.
A big boom.
Which
a doom bunny.
which Homage already proves can destroy one of the SPP towers that had stood past all that time, even with the bomb.
Had survived the mega spells,
Yeah.
Those are some rugged towers you got there.
Yeah. So,
and of course, it's his shiny weapon,
Yeah, and he doesn't want to do it, but he also wants to do it because he's, a coward, as most tyrants are.
Yeah.
So,
well, they start thinking of themselves like gods.
Yeah.
Think Xerxes from 300.
Yeah.
I am a generous god. And what Leonidas proved when he attacked him is that if a god can bleed,
he's not a god.
He's not a god.
No, he's a pathetic mortal.
Yeah.
So he was very uncomfortable in that regard. Yeah. Putting his hands on it like, I can prove. Oh, okay. Hands away.
It wiggled. It wiggled. It moved.
Okay. So
they disarmed the bomb collars.
They disarmed the bomb collars using the noise.
And they rigged the gun to blow.
And then Pip says, I'm going to have to tell you something. I don't embody the element of honesty. But I do know her. And I do care a lot for her.
Yeah. When I told you I'd spare your life.
Oh, buddy boy.
I lied.
Bang.
Blam.
Blam. Oh, and
it's so funny when you got here today. I was listening to the chapter for a second time, and you walked in the door, and all you heard was blam.
I knew it was coming because there was that part, and I was like, yes. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Yes. Thank you, Crazed Ramblings. You beautiful man.
Anyway, so Pip rescuing the unicorns returns to her friends.
Yep. And
are the unicorns still unconscious at this point?
No.
Okay.
Now, 4 of them, I think, had died.
Yeah.
From just broadcasting the noise.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it.
But Pip saved some.
But she saved 20.
Yeah.
1 had died when the hellhounds started blasting everything and took out one of the unicorns.
Damn hellhounds.
Yeah.
Invading our lands, killing our ponies.
Taking our jobs.
Jobs other ponies don't want to take. It's a little too close to home. Build a wall. You got to build a wall around Everfree Forest, y'all. Got to keep the hellhounds in there.
The wall won't help. They dig underground.
It's got to be a huge wall's got to be 100 feet down below the ground.
Huge.
It's just got a huge wall.
Deeper.
Yeah, they'll be 1,000 years moon, no trials.
So they all board the tank. All the I guess that's a whole bunch of people now.
Yeah,
where they have the prisoners. They have the unicorn. What would they be called?
And they're flying away from the Death Star. I mean, the cathedral that's about to explode.
Yeah, twice over, because you not only have the Overcast hammering into shit, but a star gun bomb that's about to go off in the bottom.
Thanks, kkat. A beautiful underground wall. I'm not saying all hellhounds are, murderers and thieves.
I'm just saying,
but they're not sending their best.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, undocumented hellhounds.
Oh God,
they don't have their dog tags.
Oh, I can't wait till YouTube cancels terminates our channel. That'll be great. I thought it would be good when I made fun of them being shut up last time.
Oh my
God. So as they're going through the forest, through the Everfree to escape, Calamity gets shot because Gutshot managed to fire a round, anti-machine round into the tank, exactly where he knew, probably a little bit off, because I guarantee you he didn't want to kill Calamity then. He wants to kill Calamity face to face. So he probably intentionally shot him right where he knew where to ground the tank.
Yeah.
Because he's still the second best shot in all the Enclave.
He shoots him in the wing.
Yeah. Because remember, he's still the second best shot in the entire Enclave.
Yeah.
Even if he's second best.
I was going to say he's the current best active shooter in the Enclave.
Yes. Noon.
Punished Calamity.
And of course, they get grounded, and Pip awakens to a whole bunch of ponies arguing, 2 of which are Calamity. And it happened so that Gutshot had fallen into the Killing Joke, and it turned him into Calamity. Is a very cruel, cruel fate.
Because he always wanted to be Calamity.
If to be fair with the
hey, maybe it'll improve his marksmanship.
But the thing with the Killing Joke is that it attempts to kill. It attempts to do the most heinous thing. Well, here's the thing: all of the Wonderbolts, as far as the Killing Joke knew, all the Wonderbolts are currently hunting down Calamity. So it's going to turn one of them that always probably wanted to be Calamity into Calamity so that they would kill him in the most ironic way possible. However, it didn't work because they had flashed their memories since, and the Killing Joke probably hadn't got that update on their Twitter feed. Whatever.
Hashtag thoughts and prayers.
Hashtag not all calamities.
Our thoughts and prayers are with Arbu. There's nothing left of Arbu.
Pray for Arbu.
Our thoughts.
There's a Facebook filter that changes your profile image to the flag. Just click that; it'll make everything go away.
The sign of Arbu. That's so fucking great. Never forget see Manhattan.
Friendship City. Pray for Friendship City. Okay. God, we've gotten a lot more social commentary on this episode than I thought we would get.
Hey, that's what they listen for. That's what the people come here for. They don't just want a synopsis of the story. They want us fucking around talking about the story. You asked for it and we delivered.
Oh boy. Okay.
The same shit, a different week.
So the Wonderbolts decide that it's best if they just
we're out. We're done.
We're
done with this. We won't pursue you. We're done with the war. We're not a part of this.
Yeah, they aren't going to be involved. They just said we can't deal with this. We don't know what's going on. But afterwards, we'll just, we'll whatever. We'll see you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Round.
Yeah. Look at me. We are not captain now.
And so it ends with that same. The chapter ends with that same audio log.
I can't wait. There's 2 chapters left.
Mm-hmm. How's the audio log? Is the audio split up?
I don't think so.
Into subchapters? Okay.
I mean, maybe on YouTube it is, but remember, I've got like some of them I had to listen to on YouTube since we split them up.
Mm-hmm.
But on the downloaded version that I have on my phone, it's not split up.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we did a 3-hour chapter here. So.
Yeah.
The thing is, it really comes down to y'all. If you are okay with listening to an hour-long, episode about it, we're fine with doing an hour and a half episode to sum up a whole chapter.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what worked best for this. It would have sucked to have to break this up into parts for me.
Oh yeah. And it would, well, admittedly, it also would have sucked to do the Shadow of the Ministries in one episode because holy fuck, that would have taken forever.
Yeah.
That would have taken forever. I'm sure there's parts of this we probably would have wanted to have broken more into, but I don't think it would have been better for it. We would have just been talking about a few additional points.
Chris, I believe it's time to share something.
It's time
with everyone at home.
Oh, see, I've been holding it upside down. Yeah, it is time. Yeah,
it is time. Do you know what that time is?
I can only assume.
The pony pun of the week.
He's happy. As long as he's happy.
Oh yeah, it's all about me. It's all for you, Damien. It's all for you.
Okay, so Mr. Robert, would you like to give us the 23rd?
You okay? I don't know if you're speaking French or having a stroke.
I don't think half of the French population that looks at Parisians, doesn't have that same thought.
The pony pun of the week is the 23rd state of the United States, Maine. Truly the land of ponies.
Land of all ponies.
What's funny is that per capita it probably has the least number of horses of all the United States.
Probably
For
true.
those of you who aren't in the United States, Maine is a state that doesn't have a lot of people in it, but it does exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's where good lobster
Isn't
comes
it not?
from.
Isn't it the most northern continental state?
Most northern continental of the contiguous states.
Oh yeah, sorry, contiguous.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the most northern contiguous.
Furthest
state,
north of the contiguous states.
Yes. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
And then we have an MVP, our most valuable pony.
We should do that together. The most valuable pony. There we go.
Is Calamity. Ding, ding, ding.
For drawing out Autumn Leaf's attention. That took some brass hojos.
Yeah.
Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Brony.
Yo.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to be like, well, you got to pick a little pip. Think about a little pip did this. But no, truly the most valuable pony, the one who took the greatest risk this chapter was Calamity.
KKat says, unlike Wyoming, which has the least amount of people, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, it's in the title. Wyoming.
I don't know. I still haven't come up with a good reason.
No.
Okay, so.
Well, I mean, technically, North Dakota doesn't have a high enough population to qualify for statehood anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's a minimum population you're supposed to be able to maintain, and they don't have it.
I was thinking. I almost want to move there.
You know, it's funny.
Just so I can get away from
You could almost combine the Dakotas into one, make Puerto Rico a state, even though they've got all that debt. But you could never combine the Carolinas because gross.
Gross.
Worst Carolina? I don't want those inbred hicks as part of my state.
We could say that because we're related to them.
I don't have any kin from South Carolina.
Well, we're still. I mean, statehood. We're related.
Yeah,
we share the Panthers.
Those idiots started the fucking war. Fort Sumter, anybody?
Hey, look at this!
Oh, wait,
damn it!
Sorry, I should say in America when we say the war, we mean the Civil War.
Yes.
And I don't mean the battle between Martin Seville and the United States.
All wars are civil wars because all men are brothers.
Really?
That wasn't my line. That was actually
really Asheville.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want to fucking talk about it.
How about some pony questions? I think we actually had a couple up further in
I'm looking at those now.
Oh, you got them. All right. Okay, baby. I'll do the ones in the show. All right.
There's the first one is by Omega. And there's actually a lot here, so we're going to try to see if we can rapid fire this one. What do you think Little Pip and other main characters would do if they suddenly appeared in the world like we see in the show after season 6 or 7? First off, they'd go, "What the fuck is going on?" They'd be very terrified, very confused. I'm sure Pip would probably start going a little bit psychotic and thinking that she was in some kind of hallucination or memory orb.
Or sorry, from Fallout 3, the
Tranquility Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then so he has, what would they think? They'd be terrified at first. I think after a while, if given enough time, they may calm down. I don't know if there will be any casualties. There may. Would they want to return to the wasteland?
Is it time travel? Are they traveling back in time, or are they traveling to the alternate universe?
It would be alternate universe.
Okay.
It would have to be alternate universe because I don't want to think that there's a divergence, but there has to be some kind of divergence.
Honestly, they wouldn't fit in.
No, they wouldn't. They would not.
Pip looks like a monster.
They all look like monsters. They're all holding all these weapons, and they're all like mutated and.
You are the Brute Squad.
Yeah.
How would they interact with the main?
Well,
six?
they say, well, would they want to return to the wasteland? The answer to that is
probably not.
Well,
it depends on who comes with them. Like, so if the mission is unfulfilled in the wasteland, they'd want to go back to the wasteland. So the Killing Joke. I want Equestria to be like it used to. Well,
now take some fucking powerful
Killing Joke. The Killing Joke not potentially have that power? I mean,
to teleport somebody to the other land, or to put them in a psychotic trip to where they think it is. That's what they would do, is they'd put them in a psychotic trip to where they think it is, and so they would walk up to somebody and wave at them, and that person who was waving at them and come up and give them a hug is actually a hellhound. Think the end. You didn't actually play it, but think of the end of Stalker, where he's like, "I want all the wealth in the world," and all this gold falls down on him, but it's not gold; it's actually the sheet metal from the roofing.
How would they interact with the main six?
They would all probably be like, "Hi," especially Pip. Pip would probably be a little bit crazy, but Velvet would try to start a relationship with Fluttershy.
They would be, but see, they would not be the versions of those characters that they know. They would be non-wartime versions of those characters.
Yeah, so they would see them at a younger age.
I feel like they would almost worship them like gods. There's a reverence there that would be difficult.
Well, there's a reverence for Pip. There is not a reverence. There's definitely reverence for Velvet when it comes to Fluttershy. There is no such reverence when it comes to Calamity, because he doesn't give a shit.
Well, except for Rainbow Dash. He's a Dashite.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly how much that extends to her personality. I mean, we know that Velvet would go like all in. Like she would be shadowing. She would be like just like touching Fluttershy whenever she could. But Calamity has never shown that amount of connectivity to Rainbow Dash. I think he likes what Rainbow Dash
I don't know.
Inevitably became.
He was fascinated with meeting another Dashite.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more a part of him than
he lets on.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Especially if he was disconnected from the wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be really tough for them.
Would they tell any pony about their world? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they would. Like, hey, shit's fucked up.
Yeah, don't do this. Whatever you do, that's wrong. Fluttershy, don't make the mega spell. And certainly don't give it to the enemy.
Yeah. How would they adapt to peaceful life if they decided to say? They wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't. They couldn't. There's a very, very
Velvet has the best chance but even she's been changed.
The thing is, there is this very, very, very old concept, and I don't know exactly when it stems back to, but it is probably as old as humanity itself. And it is, where do the soldiers go after the war? When people are exposed to atrocities, when they're exposed to having to fight, to kill, to take a life for something, you don't step back from that. Not psychologically. It's hard to remove yourself back from that. So what would probably happen is they'd probably isolate themselves away. They'd probably look at the world around them and say, this is a beautiful wonderland. We're going to make a home for ourselves far away from anyone else.
Yeah.
To live out the rest of our days in peace. Because I don't think they could live.
Honestly.
Could you imagine, think of it this way. Let me put it this way. Could you imagine them going to Canterlot?
Yeah. Let me put it this way. If Homage is there with little Pip, I think she'd be okay with staying. Like, maybe this is my reward.
Mm-hmm.
But if Homage isn't there, I could see little Pip spending every day trying to find a way to get back.
Oh, yeah. That too.
You know?
I was talking about if they stayed. If they stayed, how would they adapt to their peaceful life?
They would probably keep themselves apart. The other thing is, you have to imagine, how would they be treated in that world? I mean, they're pretty rough characters.
They're pretty rough.
They might be feared.
I mean, imagine them meeting the princesses. They'd fucking lose it. Zenith would probably want to go see Sakura.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The thing is how I imagine it playing out. Let me finish this one. What would the main six think about them? The main six would think that they were filthy. They would be absolutely taken aback by it. They would.
Well, I mean, in the main story, I mean, like, My Little Pony doesn't have war.
No.
It really doesn't have a lot of conflict.
No.
Ultimately speaking. So here are these creatures that are tainted with concepts they've never dealt with.
Yeah. There was the episode where Glimmer attempted to undo the past, which led towards a long-feeling war. Yeah, I agree, Wason. Zenith would have the hardest time to adapt. She would she would go into complete isolation and never speak to anyone ever again. Ever.
Yeah.
She would go off into the wilderness and never come back.
All right. Next question. Almanac Pony.
Terrible.
Almanac Pony says, "Hey, I'm back. Another great episode." Well, thank you, Almanac Pony. Mm-hmm. Went on holiday and only just caught up. Now, if either of you had to travel the waste with any of the main cast, who would you personally choose and for what reason?
I know who you would choose.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Steelhooves.
So, to travel with, if I'm honest,
yeah.
I mean, like, I like Steelhooves a lot, but I think Calamity would be more fun to travel with.
True.
If I'm honest.
He would be a great companion. I would probably go with that.
I mean, Steelhooves is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to have a lot of conversations. You know what I mean?
You can give him a hug. Think about it. This guy, talk about anyone who needs a hug. He needs a fucking hug.
However, talk about a pony you would want to ride into battle.
Yeah. You're like, you go on ahead, big guy. I'll be right here.
No. I'd be riding his back. In my own steel armor.
You'd be dressed up as a crusader and he...
Celestia Volt!
We
must reclaim the Everfree Forest. From the Hellhounds.
Okay.
Saracen.
Yeah, I would go with Pip. I don't know. I just think the character.
Nobody picks Velvet. Womp womp.
Well, nobody would ever pick Velvet. Velvet would let you die, like get to the edge of death before reviving you countless times in an effort to try to save everyone, rather than protecting you above those trying to kill you. That's why. That's why no one would pick Velvet.
Yeah. I think we have a couple other questions.
Velvet would never never prevent you from dying. Or she would prevent you from dying. She would never prevent you from coming to harm at the expense of somebody else. Here's another question for later. If Red Eyes had succeeded, this by Wason, with his apotheosis of combining all three ponies into a single Alcorn, what kind of world do you think it would have been? A world of death. A world of grandiose death. When you go into Red Eye's entire plan, like I said, was a tyranny, where he wanted to go in and he wanted to control and dictate what people did. And Pip would have probably done the same if given ultimate power, because inevitably she would have come to the conclusion, I can't save them by any means but controlling them directly. Because the thing is, you don't, that's the thing that we've learned about this. You don't really keep your own psychological template. You kind of get an amalgamation of all of them at once.
Yeah.
So she's not going to keep her consciousness. You may have probably felt like the goddess was Trixie taking over, but that's because she had the strongest ego of any of them.
Right. Well, in Red Eye, the other thing you have to realize is like it sounds good on paper. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
But it's untested.
Yeah.
Like I said, Colonel Autumn Leaf could be the dominant personality.
Are you saying that it wasn't a real unity?
Not this time. Only if we do it right the next time.
Oh, God. So, yeah, I think, well, what would have happened, what I mean by that, and going on to the death thing, is that the alicorns would have started trying to dictate the lives of the ponies, and they would have and the ponies would have seen the alicorns as a threat, and they would have started fighting back.
Well, and all other ponies become second-class citizens.
Yep. Which inevitably means that the ponies are all going to die. And they're going to be replaced by alicorns. The alicorns have no free will, so your entire society stagnates.
It would be like Canada. Well, they actually have second-class citizens.
They do.
And their society is stagnated.
Yes. Canada.
Getting real. We've made fun of our neighbors to the south. We've made fun of our neighbors to the north.
Now we just need the east and west.
Oh, beautiful force.
Oh, God.
Hey, the ponies could get into that amber waves of grain shit.
Immortal ponies that can reproduce sounds like it would suffer from overpopulation. True.
Yeah, no shit.
There's just everything wrong with it.
Especially in an area that farming is difficult, except for the Everfree Forest. I mean, that was part of Red Eye's plan, was to try and grow crops in the Everfree Forest. The forest. No, not the Everfree Forest. Yiff and hell, furfag.
Rainforest.
No, not rainforest.
This chapter was split up on YouTube. The next one is 2, but the next chapter really needs to be listened to in completion.
Yep, good. That's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to it to completion.
Makes it necessary to do all at once. Okay. kkat also says the alicorns are created are each patterned after one of the template beings. So since they are male and female and Red Eye's proposed new godhood, they can create male alicorns. Okay. Yeah. I still don't know how procreation would really work with that. Like we discussed before, hybridized animals don't really have the ability.
All I know is it's going to be hot as shit. It's going to be aerial. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, boy.
Acrobatic.
Is it raining? Oh, God. Not again. This is the 4th time this week.
Purple rain, purple rain.
Yeah, sorry, Discord. That was not chocolate rain you were raining down on the people. Chocolate milk rain.
God.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
I feel like there was another question, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't ever matter.
It doesn't matter, man. It's just, it doesn't. I mean, it matters, but at the end of the day. So you know what's really challenging for me as I'm listening to this? The imagery is so vivid. The writing is so descriptive. This is just begging for like an animated series.
Don't say that.
No, I'm just saying it's never going to happen, though. That's what's disappointing.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, it can't really. It can't be monetized for 2 licenses. And the other thing that's a shame is that you could literally take page for page and just adapt that. So it would be long as shit, but it's written in such a way that all of your action is right there.
So somebody got a group of people together and attempted to do such.
Yeah. But it's a ton of fucking work.
They attempted to do such. How they planned it to work, as was explained by somebody who leaked the document, the internal goings-on, is early on they decided, hey, if we change the names and enough of the concepts within it, we can actually monetize it. And I don't exactly know what conversation they had with kkat, but kkat says, the hell you are.
Yeah.
Or effectively, I don't know exactly what the conversation was between the two, but kkat said nobody gets to monetize it. Just don't. Like, she's fine with people commissioning pieces. Absolutely. She just doesn't want people using it, the community or the creation to make finance for themselves, to use it as a baseline for their own work, kind of thing.
Wason says, I'm looking forward to the audiobook.
There's another audiobook that's a apparently being made. I don't know
what has like more voices or something.
No, it's being made by a professional voiceover person.
I mean, the one we've already got right now is pretty damn professional.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of audiobooks. I was wildly impressed. I mean, honestly, I told you when we started, I thought it was going to be fan made.
Oh yeah.
And it's, I mean,
well, like going back to the animated thing, it ended up failing, burning, like just crashing into the ground, because a lot of these projects have a problem with overmanagement. Just way too many people in managerial positions, not enough people in the creative positions. Yeah. And the problem that not everyone can sync up their work schedule, because obviously people do this in the spare time. Right. So making a big
animating is incredibly time heavy.
Oh yeah, very
huge. Takes a tremendous amount of time. All I'm saying is that, like, as I'm listening to it, part of me feels really sad because I'd love to have a visual version of it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
I have a degree in cinematography, so my whole thing is like, I would love to see a version.
If there could be a 2 animated series, a
the other question
novel.
The other question is, do you animate it a la the same style of the original work? I don't think it would work if you did it in that style.
Yeah, you'd probably have to adapt it a little.
It's a little too cartoony. You'd almost need it like anime style. Like a little grittier, a little more harsh lines.
There were a few artistic interpretations.
Honestly, I would love to have y'all's feedback on this. So my question for you, and don't do it now, do it once the video is published. Leave a comment there or email us. But what kind of a style would you like ultimately an animated version of this to be in? Would it be grittier, or would it just be done in the original style of the show?
As on that point, I will mention that there was a Lullaby for a Princess took almost 3 years animating, which I can show it to you. It's
like We All Love Two Snacks, but it takes forever because he's doing it in his spare time.
kkat per leaving the stable. Leaving the stable took forever as well.
Yeah,
and that was SFM, which should technically be a very streamlined version of animating. Should be. I've never actually worked with SFM, so I can't say that for certain. But it seems like it's a lot more streamlined than some methods. Well, there's one more question.
Okay. All right.
And it was about Autumn Leaf. I'm trying to find it again, but I don't know if I can. He was asking effectively, after all that Autumn Leaf had done. Yeah. Last place says, considering all the damage he did, could it have ended any other way for Autumn Leaf?
Everyone has an opportunity at redemption.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so corrupted, it would be hard, but I don't know.
I don't know, because the thing is, I think that he has so many enemies at this point that he couldn't have survived long enough to redeem himself.
I agree, but I mean, I feel like there's always going to be a wound for Calamity of that.
Yeah.
Because like he said, he couldn't kill his own brother.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense for the story, and it makes sense for Pip to be the one like, hey, I'm going to take you out. But I do think that there was a place for him to try and find redemption. He'd have to leave the Enclave,
He'd have to do a lot of things.
Because at the end of the day, he's a bad guy, but he's not human. He's a pony. I mean, he's just like any other pony. All of his stuff comes from insecurity.
Yeah.
He no longer was looking for the approval of his father, but he was still
an overachiever.
Yeah.
And so I think inevitably what would become of him if he had survived and had tried to seek redemption, he would have become a sage.
Yeah.
He would have started.
Wason has a question here.
Oh, out of curiosity, what way do you go? Murder hobo or reformer? I go reformer. He goes murder hobo.
Are you talking about our play styles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the murder hobo. He's always the murder hobo.
Well, no, it depends on the the playthrough. Again, I apologize for the laryngitis. I'm sure y'all can hear that my voice keeps getting worse and worse as we go on. Oh,
it starts sounding like Billy Connolly here.
Yeah, Billy Connolly. Yeah.
I was just one day into the place.
Jim, Jimmy, James, Jimmy, Jim.
Hobo shotgun surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think this has gone on quite long enough. Now, I would say, if y'all want to keep hanging out, I'd be very happy for us to do an RFP after this, after show, kind of hang out. But Remember, if you are watching us on YouTube, of course, we're at youtube.com/Crisco Brand Biscuits. If you are listening to us, but you're watching us, you'd like to find us, you can always subscribe to the show on the foallyofman.libsyn.com, which you can find on Google Play or iTunes or wherever you like to download your podcasts. Do download it there because we, always looking for more of that to see the show grow. Tell your friends, if there's anybody, there's 44 episodes of this now, but if you have any friends who might think that they want to get into the show, want to see what someone's genuine reaction to the fan fiction is, I'd like to think that we're a pretty good representative of that. I'm at the point now where I want to finish the fucking story. So please consider emailing us any of your questions or ideas that you have for the show or things that you'd like us to talk about at cbpbch@gmail.com. Again, cbpbch@gmail.com. And last but not least, we do have an active Twitter. He's never on it, but I try and do stuff during the week. And that's at KriscoCast. One last little plug. If you have any interest in sports and tomfoolery, we have another show on the channel. That's the R&R Sports Podcast, which we really don't talk a lot of sports. It's more a lot of ridiculousness and old wrestlers' voices, which is also why my voice is so bad, because I tried to do a Randy Macho Man Savage impersonation. That wrecked my vocal cords. I'm
not there for that. He is, though. So if you like him and you like his friend Randy.
Well, and I'd love to have Randy on for Rando, as I call him. I'd love to have him on for a random frequency sometime, but that's beside the point. Thank you very much. This has been Randy Frequency. Yeah. This has been an 1.5-hour episode. Thanks for being with us, guys and gals, and ponies and colts and fillies and whatever, whoever you are, wherever you are, however you listen to us. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We love getting to engage with you. That's the reason why we do it.
Yeah. The feedback's been fantastic.
We've been doing this for over a year, and even if it's only 6 or 12 of you who hop on a stream, it's why I like doing it live, because I like knowing that you're there and I love getting to engage with you.
The Bill O'Reilly method. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
That's right. Thank you very much for tuning in. So,
you know what I realize? As we leave, if we do all of the next chapter in one piece, that only means we have 2 episodes to go, because there's no way you're going to the last episode and you're like, yeah, let's break the last chapter up, which means we'll probably only have 2 episodes left.
It's 2 more episodes. And then what do we do? What do we do next?
Being in.
Brush your teeth, get tested. Don't talk to strangers unless they have candy. Yeah, that's pretty good advice. Bye.